and other activities. Must have been to jail also in those days. And he was, thank you. And C is Mrs. Dolly Vyas from Houston, Texas. She is an animal rights activist, vegan as a lifestyle person, and she will tell more, but she's here for a vegan fest in Los Angeles, and she will educate us about her experience, philosophy, and some more wisdom. And as you all know, we are the first Jain center in North America, probably in the world, to be a vegan whenever we serve food at Jain center functions. I will also welcome her better half, Mr. Mayur Shah, who has come with Mahir Ahuja, okay, and Mrs. Dolly Vyas. Getting them correct, finally. Thank you, Mayur Bhai, for being here. We appreciate your time, and thank you, Ruben.
Thank you so much. It's so nice to be here. So my name is Dolly Vyas, and I'm an animal activist. And it is an honor to be here today at the first Jain vegan temple in the world. I want to give all of you an applause because, this has been my dream. This has been my dream for all the temples to take the pledge and not use any dairy products. It's truly, truly an honor to be here. And I want to thank Dr. Modi for having me here today and the committee. Thank you so much. So my mission in life is to be the voice of Mother Cow and her babies. And today, I'm going to be talking about why dairy is not a himsa, at least why it's not a himsa anymore in today's age. Number one, there's forced pregnancies. Number two, the male calf will be killed for veal. And number three, the female cow will be slaughtered at the tender age of 5 or 6, when they can live up to 20 to 25 years. So this means we're getting them pregnant at a very, very young age. It's like babies having babies. So this is my main mission in life. Just give me this light. Just give me this light. So my main mission in life is to bring this education and awareness to my Indian people, my own Indian community. I want to talk about we are pure vegetarians. So my mission is for Indian vegetarians believing in ahimsa to make that one switch and go vegan. My second mission in life is to have all Indian temples take the pledge, just like this one, again, the only vegan temple in the whole world. I want Indian temples to take the pledge of not using any dairy products in the house of God, because we're constantly having a contraindication if we were to do that. So my mission in life is to do this. I'm doing petitions and letters. If anyone wants to help me and has the same passion as I do, please meet me at the end. I spoke at the temple in Houston. They have made a lot of progress, but they're not completely vegan yet. So, and not just Jain temples. I'm not Jain. I'm Gujarati and I'm a Hindu, but I want all temples to take the pledge because we all believe in ahimsa. So first I want to talk about how Jainism and veganism are the same. Now Jainism is the path of ahimsa towards all living beings. And if you look up Jainism in the Wikipedia, it says if there's any violent practices during the production of dairy, then Jains should avoid dairy. And veganism is about causing the least amount of harm to any living being. So they don't eat meat, fish, dairy, eggs. They don't wear leather or wool or silk. They don't support the zoo, any exploitation to animals. They don't use cosmetic products with cruelty in them. So veganism and Jainism share the same core values. Now, I don't know if anybody knows, but India is the largest exporter of beef in the world. And India is the second largest leather producer in the world. Now, how could this be? The cow is holy in our culture, so how could this be happening? Well, right now, as I speak, cows are being piled up on trucks in India for legal slaughter and illegal slaughter. So the root cause of the problem is not the slaughter for the beef. That might be some of the problem, but the root cause of the problem is pregnancies forced every year, okay? And a massive population growth from the dairy industry. Now, a dairy cow can live up to 20 to 25 years. A dairy cow carries her baby for 9 months, just like us. Cows only produce milk after giving birth to a baby. This is called lactation milk, just like our milk, so just like us. She only produces milk for the sole purpose of feeding and nourishing her young, just like us. They want to bond with their baby immediately, just like us. Now, cows just don't make milk like most people think. What's behind this white glory? When we go to the grocery store and we buy a gallon of milk or yogurt or ice cream or cheese or butter, we don't think about all the cruelty that went behind this product because it comes in this pretty package. So we remain disconnected. And the greatest injustice is the baby calf will not get a sip of her mother's milk because us humans want it. Now, first, the cow is artificially inseminated with a device called a rape rack. This is the medical term that the dairy industry uses. Yes, it's a very crude procedure. I'm not going to get into it. It's very violent. So this is injustice, violation, domination, and oppression. And as Gary Francione would say, if animals are sentient and feel pleasure and pain, that means they're aware. And if they're aware, they morally matter. And if they morally matter, we have a moral obligation not to use them. Not to use them as commodities. Not to use them as milking machines. So animal exploitation must be abolished. Now, on dairy farms, baby cows are torn away from their mother immediately or within hours of birth, just so humans can drink the milk that was nature made for the baby calf. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say we were at the hospital and we just had our baby, and somebody comes in and just snatches that baby before the doctor could even bring the baby to our chest and hear our heartbeat for the first time. Imagine how that could feel, and imagine if this happened to us over and over and over again. A dairy cow will lose her baby approximately 4 to 7 times, which will cause an extreme stress and anxiety. It takes an enormous emotional toll on the mother. A mother cow will bellow for her baby for months. It's the most excruciating sound you will ever hear. And male calves will be sold for veal. And without the dairy industry, the veal industry would not exist. And females will endure the same life cycle of slavery as their mothers. Now, as a mother and a female, and all you mothers and females here today, we can empathize what the mother cow must be going through. Women are fundamental to life. Mother Earth is the feminine, the divine, and without her, we don't have seed. Females carry life, and without her, there is no life. The dairy industry is at the core of the deepest betrayal of motherhood and the female body. And I'll tell you why. All we're doing is using her for her reproductive cycle. We're using her for this one reason, because she's a female. But she's not a milking machine. She is a sentient being. Let all mothers let all mothers nurture their young and allow them to live without fear, slaughter, or mistreatment. It's time to take a stand against cruelty to all female species and all species. I want to use a quote from Dr. Will Tuttle, and he says, "How could it ever be our purpose to rob another living being of his or her purpose?" Now I'm going to be using the words of Dr. Tushar Mehta. Now, Dr. Tushar Mehta lives in Canada and he travels all around the world. And he has a YouTube video called The Dairy Production and the Beef Slaughter in India. And Dr. Tushar states, man is the only animal that drinks milk of another animal. We're the only species in the world who do that. Giraffe drink their own milk. Elephants drink their own milk. Dogs drink their own milk. Now, if it was normal for humans to drink cow's milk, we wouldn't have to tie them up, sit there, and milk them for it. We would just go to Mother Cow, and she would give it to us. But that's not happening, and that's not nature. Remember, water always falls down the hill. Nature never lies. We tie them up, and we take the milk. We steal it from them. They do not give it willingly. Now, if it was normal for us humans to drink cow's milk, then a baby born right now, let's say a baby born right now today, could start drinking cow's milk. But what would happen? The baby might get very sick, maybe even die, because the fats and proteins in cow's milk can create an imbalance in that baby. The only milk that baby can drink is her mother's milk, human's milk. That has the right proportions. And this is why pediatricians will tell you, do not start cow's milk till age 1. But I'm praying with all this research from Dr. Neil Bernard and all these plant-based doctors back in Houston. There's a doctor, a friend of mine, Dr. Roxanne George. She's Indian, and she's a vegan pediatrician. So I'm praying that no doctor will be recommending any cow's milk to any baby, any child, or anyone. So what is the solution that's going to require less land, less water, less heart disease, and most of all, no suffering to cows and give us better nutrition than cow's milk? Well, the alternative is the plant-based milk. We got almond milk and soy milk and cashew milk and coconut milk, rice milk, flax milk, hemp milk, oat milk. They're even making the milk out of peas by a brand named Ripple, walnut milk. I can go on and on. So a lot of us Indian pure vegetarians, we worry, where are we going to get our protein from? Because we think, milk is the only way, because we don't even eat eggs. So we feel like we got to drink milk for protein. And just to let everybody know, all protein comes from plants. That's how the vegetarian animals got it in the first place. And look at all these animals, some of the largest land animals on earth. The gorilla, the ox, the ram, the elephant. And all they do is eat plants. And they're all vegan. They only had their mother's milk. The strongest man in the world right now, Patrick Baboumian, vegan. Tennis star, Venus Williams, vegan. Ironman champion, 3-time champion, vegan. And all of them have a lot of strength, stamina, and endurance. And none of them are having a protein deficiency problem. And us vegans love to say, it's not where's your protein, it's where's your fiber, right? And remember, we're not just living for the taste of cow's milk. Billions of animals have to suffer, and we're humans. We have a higher consciousness for compassion. Dr. Tushar Mehta, listen to your heart, not your habit. There's vegan ice cream, vegan sour cream, vegan Cool Whip, salad dressing, yogurt, and much, much more. And we can make all our favorite Indian dishes like kadhi and chash and dal vada and khanvi, all these kind of foods. And right here, I want to show this wonderful book that Dilip Shah, does anybody know him? He lives in Pennsylvania, former president of JNIA. He's like an uncle to me. He gave me this book called The Rainbow Food for the Vegan Palate by Mrs. Pramoda. All of our Indian recipes are in here, veganized. So we don't have to really give up anything. This book is on Amazon, or if anybody wants to take a look, please come up here and take a look at it. And for our children, or even for ourselves, we can make vegan pizza, enchiladas, and mac and cheese, all by using a plant-based dairy product. Now I want to actually tell you what's in cow's milk. And I did a lot of research from Dr. John McDougall, Dr. T. Campbell, who's written the China study. Is anybody familiar with the China study? Very good. It's a wonderful book. Please, everybody take a look at that. And he talks about a protein called casein in cow's milk, which is linked to several cancers. Okay? Dr. Neil Bernard from the Physicians Committee of Responsible Medicine. Dr. Neil Bernard has excellent YouTube videos, excellent books on how to reverse disease. One of the best books I'd like Indian vegetarians to read is the book called The Cheese Trap. Because a lot of us vegetarians, we don't want to give up our cheese. It's really hard to give up cheese and paneer because there's casomorphine in there, so we're addicted to it. So I really do encourage everyone to read the book called The Cheese Trap. And I must say here, that baby calf is going to miss her mother more than we will ever miss our cheese or our paneer. Dr. Michael Greger, who's written the world bestseller, How Not to Die. He also has a website called nutritionalfacts.org. Dr. Gina Shah, maybe a lot of you guys know her. She has a YouTube video on the Ahimsic diet. And of course, Dr. Tushar Mehta. Now, cow's milk is meant to turn a 65-pound calf into a 1,500-pound cow very rapidly, very fast. And this is why we have an epidemic of obesity in the world. And Dr. Michael Clapper states, okay, that cow's milk is baby calf growth liquid. It's breast milk for a baby calf. Everything in there, the hormones, the lipids, the sodium, the growth factors, the proteins are all for a baby calf. It is milk of a large bovine cow who just had a baby. Now, mother's human milk has linoleic acid. Cows do not. We don't need such big skeletal muscles or the huge muscles like the calf. Mother's human milk gives the appropriate nutrients in building our brains, our spinal cord, and our nerves. And we need this milk for about a year. And then we no longer need our mother's milk. So why are we drinking cow's milk as adults? It's just because we've been so conditioned to think this way. I mean, I did it too all my life. We've just been so conditioned. It's not our fault. But if we think about this logically, no animals in nature drink milk after they've been weaned. Not a horse, not a dog, okay, not a rat, none of them. So I'm intending to stimulate you and provoke you into thinking. Even mother cow will teach her baby calf to start eating grass around 6 to 8 months. And here we are as adults still drinking, cow's milk, which is baby calf growth liquid. It's like a light bulb went off in my head when I started doing all this research, and maybe for some of you too. I drank milk all my life because I was told to, and I thought it was good for me. But as I did all this research, I found out, baby calves have 4 stomachs. They can handle it. And after doing all this research, I realized I'm not a baby calf, so I don't need to be drinking baby calf growth liquid. Now, there is also in cow's milk, the dairy industry allows blood, pus, and mucus in milk. There's about 1.5 million white blood cells per glass and 328 pus cells per glass. Cows get mastitis. This is because they're hooked onto these metal tubes about 8 hours a day. So there's a lot of pus and infection and redness and infection going on in that area. Okay? And even if you bought organic milk or grass-fed milk, it doesn't matter. There's still a lot of cruelty in them. They're still getting artificially inseminated. They still have mastitis. They're still using tubes on them. The baby calf doesn't get any milk. Okay, there's still progesterone, estrogen, casein in the milk. So there's really nothing healthy in that milk for the human body. And here I just want to mention really quick, a lot of Indian temples are finding this out, and especially the Hare Rama, Hare Krishna temples, they're buying their own farms and their own Brahmin cows. And they're using this milk. It's called Ahimsa milk. Has anybody heard of that? Ahimsa milk? So they're calling this Ahimsa milk. They'll take care of the cows forever. But us vegans are against that too, because we don't know how they're making these cows pregnant, number one. Number two, what are they doing with all the male calves that are being born? And number 3, there's about 1 billion cattle on this earth, probably even more, and 7 billion people on this planet. So what are we going to do? Keep making these cows pregnant over and over again for a demand for milk? It's just not sustainable anymore. So I'm trying to get to those temples too, to create a sanctuary, but we no longer need to be drinking cow's milk in this day and age. And I'm so happy this temple hasn't chosen to do that, You're really aligning your values with your actions at this temple. Now there's estrogen and progesterone in milk. And remember, when a cow's had a baby, and this is why milk is coming out, these levels are even higher, just like us humans. So a lot of young girls are getting their menstruation way too young. Remember, all these hormones. Men are getting man boobs in their 40s and 50s. Okay, my dad calls it baby fat, but no, it's not. It's all this estrogen, extra estrogen in the milk. And men are getting enlarged prostate, leading to prostate cancer. Okay? And women are getting breast cancer. And I just want you to know that these cows are very sick. They have bovine lymphoma, bovine leukemia, and bovine immunodeficiency disorder, BIV. This is something the doctors will never tell you. They don't know themselves. Okay? So the best way to get cancer is to drink milk. Okay? Because these cows have this big of tumors. They're very sick. And when they come into sanctuaries, where I do a lot of volunteer work, we work really hard to save them. Now, there's BGH in cow's milk, which is the bovine growth hormone, which increases milk production. BGH increases blood levels of the insulin growth factor, IGF-1, which is linked to several cancers. So let us stop and pause and think about this for a second. Cows get antibiotics. We get antibiotics. Every time we take antibiotics, we're creating a resistance. Cows have tumors and cancers. We have tumors and cancers. Cows get anxiety and stress. We get stress and anxiety. A lot of us have insomnia. We can't even sleep at night. We're taking some pill to help us sleep. A lot of us overthink. We think too much. More and more people are getting diagnosed with clinical depression. Cows get a disease called yonis, where they're having this persistent diarrhea. Because remember, they're always in that sympathetic nervous response, that flight or fright response. They're always scared and having anxiety and pain mixed up with all these drugs. This disease is called yonis. In humans, it's called Crohn's disease or IBS. And if you've watched TV lately, it's take this drug for Crohn's disease or take this drug for IBS. I mean, if we only knew. So it's time to wake up and do our own research. Cows have osteoporosis. We have osteoporosis. Cows get pus. We get acne. Cows have mucus. We have allergy, asthma. What's going on here? It's a boomerang effect. Whatever we're doing to them is happening to us. But a lot of vegans are waking up and finding out that food is information at a quantum level. Food is energy, and energy never dies. It only gets transferred. So at the time when the cow is feeling pain, anxiety, and fear, now this gets transformed into our DNA. And this is why vegans will tell you they're having just a calmer lifestyle. They're liberated from all this. And they're having a mental balance, a physical balance, an emotional balance, and a spiritual balance. Now, the dairy industry is a billion-dollar industry, says Dr. John McDougall. And they have their own doctors and scientists that will tell you different. Now, we drink milk for calcium, right? We were told all our lives that we need it for calcium and vitamin D, for strong bones and strong teeth. The truth is, women who drink more milk have more osteoporosis. So it's almost like we have to unlearn and relearn. And this one was a big one for me. My daughter never liked drinking milk. I got scared, So I would buy Hershey syrup, and I found out that was bad for her. And then I got Ovaltine, and I was probably brainwashed by my mother. She was brainwashed by her mother. We watch it on TV. Milk does a body good. Our pediatricians tell us to drink milk for calcium. But what is calcium? Well, calcium is a mineral that comes from the ground, just like magnesium, copper, and zinc. And what happens is the cows are eating the roots from the plants and getting the calcium that way. But nowadays, The cows aren't even getting calcium from the earth. They're eating like GMO corn and GMO grain mixed in with fish pellets. They actually have to be injected with calcium. They have severe osteoporosis. So much of their milk had to come out, which depletes them of all their calcium. So the best thing to do is skip the middleman, skip the cow, and go straight to the source with all these plants that are so rich in calcium. Now let's talk about our children really quick. Number one, ear infections. Remember, all that mucus in milk. Children get a lot of ear infections. 2, tooth decay. A lot of kids are falling asleep with the bottle in their mouth. With the bacteria in milk, you can get severe tooth decay. They're getting asthma, eczema, constipation. This is a big one for our kids. You always hear kids say, my stomach hurts, my stomach hurts. Remember, there's no fiber in milk. It's acidic. More and more children are getting acid reflux. And children as young as 9 are getting diagnosed with high cholesterol. Remember, it's a lot of fats. It's liquid meat, a lot of fat in there. But Dr. John McDougall says, if you take your kids off of dairy products, they are generally cured of all these symptoms. Generally cured. And the dairy industry is well aware of all these problems. But the rebuttal is money. And the dairy industry tries to use reductionism on us. They try to reduce our intelligence, but no longer. You know, a lot of doctors are waking up about the truth of dairy. The public is waking up about the truth of dairy, and dairy sales have actually gone down. Let's give a hand to that. Now I'm going to talk about how animal agriculture is devastating our planet. And I'm going to be using the words of Philip Woolen, a prominent member of the rights movement and activist, a banker and now activist. And he says, animal agriculture is the leading cause of species extinction, ocean dead zones, water pollution, and habitat destruction. We are facing the largest mass extinction in 65 million years. It is a crime of unimaginable proportions. It takes 900 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of cheese. And it takes 1,000 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of milk. Every 10 seconds, the Amazon forest is just being chopped down for animal agriculture. These trees are our lungs in this world. The rivers, our circulation, the air, our breath, and the earth, our body. And this is really important for the youth to understand because they need to secure it for their future generations. Now, animal agriculture makes a 40% greater contribution to global warming than any transportation in the world. Cattle and cow in particular produce a significant amount of methane annually. For example, a single dairy cow can produce 75 kilos of methane annually. A single dairy cow can eat 50 pounds of grain a day and drink 50 to 100 liters of water a day. The land is sinking, and now we're getting water from our aquifers. California, some of the biggest dairy industries in the world, we're getting water now from our aquifers that took years to build. Because remember, we're giving all this water to our dairy cows. And then it takes a tremendous amount of water to grow the crops to feed it to the cows. And then remember, we're killing cows, dairy cows. None of them are going to a retirement home. And then we kill them. Now, cows belch and fart, producing a tremendous amount of methane. Now, this goes up into the atmosphere and gets trapped there for about 11 years. It is 86 times more powerful than CO2. And this is why we have global warming and a major drought in California and other parts of the world. Now, I encourage everyone to watch the documentary called Cowspiracy. How many of you seen Cowspiracy? Oh, wow. There's a gentleman here. You're awesome, by the way. Everyone got to go home and see it. You must see this movie. It is the best movie ever made. There's no cruelty in the movie. It only talks about our Mother Earth. And please watch this with your high school students, your college students. It's so important, but because we got to take care of our future generations. Again, using the words of Philip Whelan, and he says, water now is the new oil. Nations are going to go to war for it. Underwater aquifers are running dry, especially here in California. Some of the greatest rivers now don't even reach the sea. We have sucked them dry through the dairy and meat industry. Even without fossil fuels, we're going to exceed our 565 gigatons of CO2 limit by 2030, all from raising animals. In India, just to let everybody know, India has the highest densities of livestock in the world because we love our chash and our paneer and our ghee, and there's just too many dairy cows in India. It's getting overpopulated. And India's emissions of greenhouse gas methane of livestock are largest in this world. Now I want to talk about our oceans really quick. I'm wrapping it up. Please hang in there. Over 70% of the planet is water, our planet ocean. Fish are grinded up, put into pellets given to our vegetarian cows. They're not even supposed to be eating this stuff. Now us vegetarians, we would never eat fish. But when we pay with our dollar for any dairy product, okay? I'm talking ghee and paneer and whatever we use, we're paying for billions of fish to die. Where is the ahimsa in that? You can see how this is all so connected. 10,000 species wiped out just like that because of one species. Us. Philip Whelan. Oceans are under attack. Phytoplankton are microscopic plants that come from the ocean. Okay? Giving us oxygen and taking carbon. But humans are taking everything from the ocean and giving nothing back. I encourage everybody to watch the documentary called Seaspiracy. It's just like Cowspiracy, but it talks about how we're devastating our oceans. And this is very important for the youth to understand, because the earth is not just a chunk of dirt. Mother Earth is alive, and she keeps us alive. It's not just about the Bill of Rights, but it's about the Bill of Responsibility to our planet, because we only got one. And we Indians, we have a dharmic duty to protect Bhumi Devi. This is also ahimsa. You know, so you have to give up dairy for Bhumi Devi. Think about that. Our earth, our planet. So by going vegan, one person can save 400,000 gallons of water, 15,000 pounds of grain, 7,000 pounds of CO2, 365 animal lives, 11,000 square foot of forest, all in 1 year by going vegan. So if you're vegan in this temple, I applaud you. You're doing something great for the planet. Once again, using the words of Philip Whelan, and he says it so eloquently. The time for killing dairy cows has passed. It's just not about animal rights, but it's about human wrongs. Ahimsa, the most beautiful word written 5,000 years ago by the Upanishads. Non-violence to all living beings in what we think, in what we say, and what we do. We all oppose violence, but doing nothing is no longer an option. Let's do something tangible, and let's tell the truth. And wise words from Gary Yavalsky, and he says, peace begins at the plate and what we put in our mouth. And once you know the truth, you can't unknow it. Okay? So a lot of us, I know, when we go on vacation, we might be taking a little dairy, or we have to have just a little bit in our chai, or it's our birthday, or we go to someone's house and they give us a chai. We have to take it because we feel they'll feel bad. But even if we are taking a little dairy, remember, every time you put dairy in your mouth, that baby didn't have any. And it's violence. This is against what we believe. So if we walk out of here and take dairy, remember that we'll be a walking contradiction if we believe in ahimsa and nonviolence. So Philip Whelan says, We are no longer voiceless. We are no longer powerless. And we are no longer spineless. Let's together stand up for justice whenever, wherever, and to whomever it is denied. It is time for every educated, enlightened citizen to get off the dairy drug. They have had their day, and their time has passed. Let's together not be in reliving history, but be in the making of history. Just like this temple. This temple is at the forefront of change, a paradigm shift. And I'm praying this Jain temple is going to have a rippling effect to all Jain temples and all temples in the world. I commend this Jain temple again. Thank you so much. We can no longer use our religious traditions to cause so much harm and suffering. We got to do the greater good in today's world. We need to evolve from old traditions and go to the new. We need to create earth consciousness. We need to let the ego behind. And what I mean by ego is ego says that milk is tradition, or our gods drank it, or it's holy, or it tastes good, and I don't want to give it up. This is ego. So let's create a new divine imprint, okay? For the planet, for ahimsa, and for compassion. And whenever one person stands up and says, wait a minute, this is wrong, it helps others do the same. And once we live a vegan lifestyle, we're aligning our values with our actions. Like this temple. This temple is aligning their values with their actions. And I commend you. I am so happy to be here today. It brings tears to my eyes to be in this temple here today. I want to use a quote from Dr. Stephen Farmer from his new book, Earth Magic. And he says, the Creator and creation is one. Let me say that again. The Creator and creation is one. The Creator merges with creation at the moment of pure awareness. So when you see that cow, that mom, that baby that you see God. And God is asking for mercy. The choices we make today change our tomorrow. And with the vegan diet and lifestyle, we give up nothing. We just stop taking, which was never ours. And last, God lives in the voiceless. Thank you. I just want to really quick say that tomorrow there is a huge vegan festival in Woodley Park. I'll be speaking, and Dr. Gary Francione, who's spoken at many Jania conferences. There's going to be great speakers, wonderful food. There's going to be Indian food, Jamaican food, all 100% vegan. If everybody wants to come out, that will be tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for coming out today in your busy schedule and giving us some rundown about the veganism.
Thank you. One more thing I forgot, Mr. Modi. One more thing. I was given this book by Dr. Shulak Jain, my guru, my teacher. Does anybody know Dr. Shulak Jain? He used to live in Texas. Now he lives in...
Everybody knows him.
Oh, awesome. He's written this great book. You can get it on Amazon for anybody who wants to take a look, and I commend him a lot. And Dr. Shulak Jain. And Ahimsa Crisis, you decide. And Ahimsa Crisis, you decide, by Dr. Shulak Jain. And I also want to thank, I didn't meet Mr. Modi yet, but I want to thank Mr. Modi and his committee for having me here today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I said it, busy schedule to come down. And this center has become vegan. It is only because all the members of this center want it that way, and there is a movement that is created, and that movement will take in all the center of the United States, joint centers, and then we're going to start into the rest of the population. I just want you to know that by observing vegan principles and the diet, you are helping a lot of things, what she just said it, which is a nonviolence, ahimsa, cows, methane, and all those things. But as a practicing physician, I would tell you that if you become vegan and avoid a dairy product, your health will be a lot better. I have seen patients who become vegan, and if they are taking insulin, they have come off the insulin. Their exercise tolerance has gone quite a bit. I will tell you my own example. I have type 2 diabetes, and since I became vegan, I have lost weight. I have lost about 40 pounds of the weight, and as you can see that I need to buy some new clothes because these are the old clothes. My sugar is much better. My blood pressure is much better. My cholesterol is much better. I have a more tolerance of doing what I'm doing it. And about 3 weeks ago, when I did the blood chemistry of my own, it was never this better in last 40 years. It was a perfect. If I show it to you, everything was normal. So I want you to know that veganism has a benefit in every way that you can see. And of course, that will help you financially as well because you're going to save a lot of money. So I appreciate you coming down today. That was a great talk, and we thank you very much, everybody. And now we have a vegan lunch, and at 1 o'clock we're going to have a movie, which is an oxygen. I haven't seen the movie, but I have heard about the movie that it is about the interpersonal relationship, and people who have watched the movie very highly recommended it. So we have sponsors at no cost to the Jain Center, but open to everybody who would want to come in. So we will have a lunch, and then 1 o'clock we're going to start the movie. So I thank you very much for everybody coming down to the Jain Center. Thank you very much.